Everybody, good afternoon. It is noontime, probably Wednesday, somewhere where we are. Maybe where you are, maybe not. If you're listening to this on a podcast, you're listening to this live, maybe it's not live, maybe it's pre-recorded. But either way, we are here to tell you all about all these different topics, which include politics, social justice, peace, love, liberty, politics. Did I say that? I'm being repetitive. But today we are talking about the hatred and the diverse hatred of our Vice President, Kamala Harris. David, what have you found out today?
Stuart, I got to tell you, it was buried in the news, of course. Kamala Harris went to George Mason University in Fairfax, in Virginia, and she was taking questions from the students in the audience. And basically, one student was upset that the Democrats approved the Iron Dome budget and then alleged Israel, or accused, I should say, Israel, of ethnic genocide and of being an apartheid state. Now, any good leader, anybody who's looking out for the truth, would have immediately said to the student, I get you. But the problem is, student, you're absolutely wrong. In that Israel is not an apartheid state, and Israel does not commit ethnic genocide. And while your opinion is your opinion, let's deal with the facts. Rather, Ms. Harris replied that she was glad the student brought up such concerns and went on to say her opinion should be heard in a democracy. And again, this is about the fact that your voice, your perspective, your experience, and this is the best one, your truth should not be suppressed as it might be heard. And one of the things we're fighting for in a democracy. Now, I'm going to ask the question, your truth, your experience? I'm asking myself, so if I come up with an opinion, which is my truth, Ms. Harris is now telling every student that that's fact. And instead of being a friend, a partner to the state of Israel, which the Biden administration claimed numerous times, Ms. Harris threw, again, a friend under the bus to curry favor from students so she can get reelected. Stuart, if this is the Biden administration, how can we trust them at all?
This is a woman who, by any definition, is one of the biggest hypocrites in American politics, I would say, since Benedict Arnold. The woman hates America. She's not a dumb woman. She's a very well-educated woman.
Yeah, she was educated here in Montreal in high school, by the way. Did you know that?
Yep. For a stupid fact, yes, it is true. But she didn't get from Montreal what you or I got from Montreal, which is a multicultural, loving, accepting base, right?
No, let's remember what her background is, right? What was she doing in the state of California, Stuart?
She was putting Black people in jail.
Right. So I guess what's good for you isn't good for me, right? Like the thing is that the Biden administration doesn't come down on its members or its party members. They permitted AOC to cry publicly and to make a complete sham out of the vote on the Iron Dome. They clearly see that when anybody tells them that the administration screwed up in Afghanistan, they're shut down. And now here you have the Vice President of the United States, who should have publicly apologized to their friend in Israel and to say, we were in the wrong. We should not have permitted the student to believe such falsehoods, because all you have now done is perpetuate hate, which is again the divisiveness that the Democrats claim that is a Republican trait, But in reality, the Democrats are no better than the Republicans in creating divisiveness, in creating this us versus them mentality and this hate. And now what you've done is you put more students' lives in jeopardy at university because the Vice President of the United States condoned this move.
Right. And the Vice President of the United States, right, her mother actually took a research position at the Jewish General Hospital, which is affiliated with McGill. And, you know, she was attending Notre Dame de Neige, then was called Face School. And then she finally went to Westmount High in Westmount, Quebec. You know, what I don't understand, and I didn't know that. I knew she lived in Montreal. I didn't know her mother actually worked for McGill in the Jewish General Hospital.
Whatever.
I know
excuse
that
me. Who's Miss? Excuse me.
I mean,
who is she married to? Please.
Nice Jewish,
okay.
Nice
right.
Jewish.
So it really clearly she has surrounded herself with the right people to tell her your disdain for Israel is okay. She's surrounded herself with the kind of thing. Listen, if she's that hateful, as the Vice President of the United States, she represents the Biden administration. She represents the policies of the Biden administration and the Democratic Party. And to say on one side one thing and then the other side another thing, you know, to say that Israel is committing ethnic genocide, where the Palestinian population has increased annually. Ethnic genocide doesn't exist when the population increases. Ethnic genocide, okay, is a systemic.
Yeah, but there's another problem. Palestinians are not a people or a race.
No, I'm not going to. I don't want to get into that kind of crap. The point is, no. The accusation is not about the Palestinians. The accusation is made at Israel at being an apartheid state. And again, you talk to South African leaders, and they're going to tell you adamantly that Israel is far from an apartheid state. When the Surgeon General of Israel is an Arab, when Miss Israel was an Arab,
these people need to go to the Arab quarter and live a week. You know, they make these statements that are just so stupid. I mean,
but the point is,
you know what? I want Kamala Harris for all those gay people and LGBT people that she claims
LGBT,
to protect, LGBT, yeah. I want her to go to Afghanistan, where she has single-handedly with Joe Biden had a ton of people murdered, and see how they're treated there. You know,
Stuart, my point of this.
Oh, and they're a partner Afghanistan now.
My whole point about all this is Mr. Biden claimed that Mr. Trump alienated allies, mistreated allies, threw allies under the bus. He believes, and again, what you see, people, and this is what we talked about on, earlier this week, what you see, folks, is what you get. A two-faced liar, a vice president who clearly has played the cards of the administration, shows you what the...
Do you want to know who Kamala Harris reminds me of? You know, she is biracial, right? She's not white or black. I think she's mulatto. And she married a white guy. You know, she kind of reminds me of Adolf Hitler.
No, come on. Come on.
She wasn't.
Come on. No.
Come on. David, hang on. Let me finish. She grew up in Montreal, right? In a time where black and white marriages and mulatto kids weren't as accepted in the United States as very well. There was a lot of dissension. She clearly wasn't Jewish, and in a predominantly Jewish school, Jewish neighborhood. Her mother worked in a Jewish organization, and her hatred towards Jews in Israel, maybe it's because she's got a misspent youth and she needs to get psychotherapy.
I don't need to. You know what? I don't care what her problem is. I don't care what her personal problem is. As the vice president of the United States, you represent the government and the national interests of the United States.
But her official name at birth was Camilla Liar Harris.
I don't care what her name was, and I don't even give a hoot about that. What I care about is that you go into a university which already perpetuates hate towards Israel. You go to a student and tell the student that whatever they believe in, I mean, listen to the statement, your truth, those were the words she used, your truth must be heard. No, it's not about your truth or my truth. It is the truth, and you need to stick to fact. And the point is that she permitted all these students to believe that Israel
There's a rule, David. You can't yell fire in a movie theater. And this woman, in essence, is allowing a woman to yell fire in a movie theater. And again, I'm going to draw back. What is her agenda? Her agenda? She is a failed border czar. She's a failed, representation of Black Americans. She's failed the Americans left behind in Afghanistan. She's failed at creating more diplomacy. I mean, I don't know what this woman does other than has the title vice president. She's a horrible speaker. She's a horrible person on facts. I'll make a mistake. I'll misspeak. But David, I'm also not vice president of the United States of America, the second most powerful person in the world.
But the problem is Ms. Harris, and that's the point. You just drove my point home. If she's going to stand in front of students and to say, without telling the student where they're wrong, then what else is she doing? What other lies is she spinning? Because to not correct the student, why? Again, I go back to the whole thing. Are you trying to curry votes? Is this what you're trying to do? Because if it's about votes, then guess what? You've thrown your friends under the bus. If it's not Israel, tomorrow it's Canada, then it's the UK, then it's Australia. Who else are you going to throw under the bus so that you can get reelected? Or is your goal to be the next president of the United States and you're going to lie your way to the office? Because right now, I think that's the
answer, David. I think that's the answer. Listen, Joe Biden, in his historical voting record, has picked the wrong decision throughout his entire career, as said Barack Obama, right? In 2008, Joe Biden had the wrong choice on every single decision, including the mission to get Osama bin Laden. Even as of now, they're testifying in front of Congress about how many things people said that you should be left with 2,500 troops, every single general. But Biden said, nope, never heard it, didn't want to, made the wrong decision.
But right now he made the wrong decision. His VP partner then is the wrong decision, if that's the case. I'm sorry to say, but to sit here, and again, I will say it again, if I'm going to make a statement in public, I need to have fact to support it. You're the vice president of the United States. And in a smirky-ish way to stand there and to let a student spew lies. And it wasn't just about Israel, by the way, Saudi Arabia. Not spew lies. I mean, if they would have said, if a student would have said that, let's just for say that Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of UK, is a communist. Is Kamala Harris going, well, your truth matters? I don't think so. She singled out Israel, just like her enemies, just like the rest of so many of the members of the Democratic Party, who on one side claim to be pro-Israel, but deep down could care less if she goes into the sea. By bringing back these policies, by allowing these things to happen, Mr. Biden, you are a failure. You have failed America. You fail your friends, and you're failing your allies. And it makes
David, she's failed the Baptist Church. In fact, you want to know something? I'm calling on all Baptist leaders to excommunicate this woman, because every Baptist loves the state of Israel, and you cannot be a Baptist and not love the state of Israel. So as far as I'm concerned,
get out. I would like to see Ms. Harris be forced to resign.
Yeah.
It won't happen, of course.
Of course
it won't happen. And listen, I'm not part of cancel culture. I'm not part of cancel culture, because I know somebody accused me the other day because I said that the New York Times should be shut down. They said, oh, you're part of cancel culture. No, I would shut down somebody who spews hate and lies. And that's what the New York Times did.
Yep.
Ms. Harris if you are going to spew lies and hates about Israel and you're not going to be apologetic about it, you should step down. You are not worthy of being the VP.
Is, when you talk about these people, how much is Kamala Harris worth? She's worth about $7 million.
Hey, don't even go there. It's irrelevant, her net worth. Her personal net worth. Her personal.
Douglas Emhoff needs to get his head examined and get a good divorce attorney.
Anyways, what I'm saying is her personal net worth is what's good for me and good for you. And if you're my friend today, you're my enemy tomorrow. That seems to be it. Folks,
I got to give you one more fact. Do you realize that woman worked for the government and has a $1 million pension account?
Stuart, it just shows you.
How many people out there got $1 million pension account that listen to this? It's a lot of money.
Stuart, on that note, we're going to leave it here. We've reached way past our quarter hour. It is Wednesday. We look forward to seeing you all folks on Friday at noon Eastern, where I hope to be back in my office as opposed to on the road. I look forward to seeing you guys all on Friday. Stuart, let's say goodbye to everybody.
I want to say goodbye to everybody, but you know what? There are so many votes going on this week. I think we got a treasure trove to talk about on Friday.
But I'm going to tell you something, folks. This is your time to call your congressperson, your senator's office, and scream. You want the right thing being done. You want the right vote. Don't let others dictate for you what you need. Folks, wish you a good week.